Welcome back to Spelling and Word Study. My name is Mrs. Rhoades, and I'm here to get you started on Unit 10, Long E with IE. Please take a second to gather your materials. You will need your blue book open to page 65. You will also need some colorful pens, markers, or crayons. Remember, whatever I mark on my board, you should be marking on your page. Please also save room for a key. If it doesn't fit on this page, a separate sheet of paper is fine. If at any point I'm moving too fast, please pause the video and catch up. All right, so for the last several weeks, we have been talking about long vowels. Remember, long vowels say their name. So long A says A. We looked at some common ways to make long A say its name. We looked at vowel teams like AI, and we also looked at open syllables. Those are syllables that end with one vowel saying its name. So we saw that in words like apron or bacon. Then last week we moved on to long E. Long E says E. We can get an E to say its name by using a vowel team such as EE or EA. We can also use an open syllable in words like equal or recent. So before we move on to our next vowel, I want to spend one more week talking about long E, but this time I want us to focus specifically on the IE vowel team. Okay? Most of the time when you see IE together in a word, they're going to make the long E sound. So I want you to listen for that as we read our words. Achieve, believe, brief, chief, field, fierce, grieve, mischief. That one's pronounced a little differently, right? Mischief. Niece, peace, priest, relief, shield, thief, and yield. All right, so hopefully you heard that E sound in each word except for number 8. Even though it looks like mischief, we pronounce it mischief. Okay, so just as we've done in previous weeks, let's choose a color and break our words into syllables, starting with achieve. Slice it after the A. Believe. Slice it after the E. Brief, chief, field, fierce, grief are all one-syllable words. Mischief, we stress the first syllable. Niece, peace, priest, relief, we're going to slice it after the E. Shield, thief, and yield. So only a handful of multisyllabic words this week, but that's okay. Green vertical line equals syllable break. Okay, what I want to do next is go back to those 4 words and let's just quickly mark our stressed syllable. Remember, that's the part of the word that we say a little bit louder, a little bit stronger. So in achieve, it's the second syllable. In believe, it's the second syllable. In mischief, it's the first syllable. And in relief, it's the second syllable. Now here's what I want you to notice. Achieve, believe, relief. Notice the stressed syllable makes that long E sound. But look at mischief. Remember, we don't pronounce it mischief because we stress the first syllable. That second syllable has a schwa, the sound. Remember that? Mischief. Okay? Same thing in achieve and believe and relief. Okay? In all of those words, the unstressed syllable takes on that schwa sound. So, check equals stressed syllable. And then circle equals schwa sound, okay? So everything I circled, b, ch, r, takes on that schwa sound. Okay, so now I want to go through our words and I want to find the IE in each word. So here it is in achieve, believe, brief, chief, field, fierce, grieve, mischief, niece, peace, priest, relief, shield, thief, and yield. Actually, and I know you can't do this on your paper, but I'm going to erase that red box because we already established that IE doesn't say E right there, right? Because that's our stressed syllable. Now, if you can't change your paper, don't worry about it. But over here, red box, IE says E. It makes a long E sound. Now, this is an unusual vowel team because usually the first vowel says its name, right? When we see AI, it's the A that does the talking. When we see EA, it's the E that does the talking. When we see IE, in these words, it's the E that's doing the talking. Although you have seen this pattern before in smaller words like pie and lie and die. Now the difference between this and this is that when the IE is at the end of the word, the I says its name. But look at where the IE is in all of these words. It's tucked in the middle, okay? So that's important. When you come across a word you don't know, if it ends with IE, the I will do the talking. But if you see the IE in the middle of a word tucked in, it's gonna say E, okay? Just another weird thing about our language. Okay, next I want to talk about prefixes. We've talked about those before. We know that a prefix is something that's tacked on to the beginning of a word and changes its meaning a little bit. So, for instance, in the word mischief, we have the prefix miss, okay? Miss means wrong. You've seen this in misspell. If you misspell a word, you spell it wrong. If you misspeak, you speak wrong. You say the wrong thing. If you misbehave, you behave the wrong way. So mischief is wrong behavior, right? If you think about somebody who's causing mischief, they're causing trouble, right? So mischief is like naughty behavior. So I'm going to call it wrong behavior just because I want to use that miss, okay? But just keep in mind, mischief is usually more naughty, like playing pranks on people, that sort of thing. Okay, before we talk about the vocabulary, I do want you to notice one more thing about the spellings of these words. We have the word believe, which is a verb, right? I believe you. But we can change it to belief, right? My beliefs are the things I believe. I can take the word grieve, which means to be really sad about the loss of something or someone. So I grieved when my father died. I grieved when my friend moved away. I grieved when we had to put our dog down, So to grieve means to feel bad because of a loss, right? So when you grieve, you are full of grief. Relief is a feeling, right? Like if you were really worried, right? You thought you lost your wallet, and then here it is, it's under my bed, right? What a relief, right? I feel so much better. So when you feel relief, your worries are relieved, right? You relieve yourself. Thief is a person that steals stuff, right? Thieves means more than one, okay? The reason I'm bringing this up is because I want you to notice that a lot of these words that end with V have another form that ends with F. Believe, belief. Grieve, grief. Relieve, relief. Thieves, thief. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Even mischief, right? If you cause mischief, you are being mischievous. There's that V. The F, mischief, changes to a V in mischievous. Okay? Doesn't happen all the time. Like there's no, if you achieve stuff, you don't feel achieve, right? So it doesn't happen with all of our words, but it happens enough that I want you to be aware of it, okay? When we are changing the part of speech, we often have to change the F to a V or a V to an F. All right, one more thing I want to talk about is these silent E's, right? Look at achieve. Why do we have a silent E there? We already have the IE making the long E sound. So this E is not making the vowel say its name. What it's doing instead is it's babysitting the V. We don't have any words in our language that end with a V, okay? So if we have a word that ends with a V sound, we need an E to babysit it. Think about words like have. Why don't we spell it like that? Why do we need the E at the end? Think about words like give. Why can't we spell it like that? Why do we need the E on the end? It's simply to babysit the V, okay? So we see that in achieve, believe, grieve, relieve, and thieves, okay? In all these examples, silent E babysits the V, okay? I say it's babysitting because it's not really doing anything. It's not bossing anyone around. It's not making vowel say its name. It's not making the G soft or the C soft, although we do see that in words like niece. We see that in peace, and we see that in fierce. In all of these words, the silent E softens the C, right? Without it, this would say meek and peak and fierce. So we need that E to soften the C. Okay, I know I keep saying one more thing, but I do have one more thing. And this will help you when you get to page 68. Because on 68, you are going to practice with homophones. Remember, homophones are two words that sound the same, but are spelled differently and have different meanings, okay? We have tons of long E homophones. Think of meat and meat, or feet and feet. here, and here. So you're going to review a whole bunch of those. But on your list here, can you spot a homophone? All right, hopefully you found piece, right? This kind of piece means part of a whole, right? So a piece of pie, there's pie, right? I'd like a piece of pie, a piece of pizza, a piece of the puzzle fell on the floor. So a piece is a tiny part or a small part of a whole, right? Well, down here, we're going to write purple circle equals homophone, okay? Because you're going to, like I said, you're going to have a whole page of homophones to practice later. This kind of piece is a tiny piece of something, but it's a homophone because we also have this kind of peace, which means peace and love, right? The opposite of war. I don't want to fight with you anymore. Let's call a truce. Let's enjoy some peace, right? So peace would be calm, a period of no fighting. Two totally different words, different meanings, different spellings, sound the same. So they are homophones. All right, so achieve. If you achieve something, you meet your goal. Okay, so this weekend my sons, all three of them really wanted to run a half marathon. They were training for several months. This Saturday, the big day came and they achieved their goal. They all successfully ran a half marathon. If you believe something, you think it's true. Brief means short. So I tried to keep this lesson brief, but it ended up being kind of long, right? It's not brief. A chief is the head. Could be the head of the police department. It's the police chief. Could be the head of a Native American tribe, right? The Indian chief. So it's the chief is the head or the person in charge. Field would be like a grassy field, right? Like you play baseball out on a baseball field or a soccer field. Fierce, if somebody's fierce, they're tough, right? They're not going to back down. They're not going to give up, right? A fierce opponent is somebody who's not going to let you win the game. They're going to fight until the very end. We talked about grieve, right? You feel a sadness because you've lost someone. We talked about mischief. That's naughty or wrong behavior. A niece would be your sister or brother's child, right? So my sister has 2 daughters. They are my nieces. My brother has 2 daughters. They are my nieces. We talked about peace. A priest is the head of a church, the leader of a church. Okay, so if you are Jewish and you go to the temple, you will listen to the rabbi speak. If you are Muslim, you might go to the mosque and listen to the imam speak. If you are Catholic, you would go to a Catholic church and listen to the priest speak. He would be the one that says Mass. Relief, that feeling of, okay, it's all going to be okay. To shield means to cover or protect. So think about in the olden days, the knights had the sword and the shield. The shield was that big, heavy metal thing that would protect them from getting stabbed, right? If you are watching a baseball game and somebody hits a ball into the stands, your mom or dad might try to shield you. They might try to cover you, protect you, so the ball doesn't hit you in the head. We talked about thief, a person who steals things. And to yield is to give in, or if we're talking about traffic, you let someone else go, right? So if you are getting onto the highway and there's another car already driving full speed, you have to yield. You have to let them go first, and then you can go behind them. So you're giving in, you're not being first. You're letting someone else go. All right, lots of great vocab this week, but I think you'll have no trouble with the spelling. Just remember to put those IEs in there whenever you're trying to make the long E sound, and you'll be good to go. All right, good luck, and I'll see you next time.